And we are on air live. This is Richard, and welcome to Macchiato Monsters, the Lost City. And we just lost Morgan, who I'm sure is going to join us and just rejoin us in just a second. Hey, Morgan, welcome back.
Sorry, I closed the wrong window. Apologies.
Oh, no worries. I just didn't want you to. I didn't want to turn to you immediately and ask you your character introduction, just as you were missing. I'm Richard, and I'll be your GM tonight. And I have an awesome crew of players. And we are going to start, because I just joked about it, with Morgan introducing Yelnara.
Excellent. So there are some things about Yelnara that I'm going to remember more as I play her. But I can tell you for now that she is a gnome, and she is sneaky and light-fingered. Not super intelligent, which I interpret as meaning that she is very sort of credulous, and she'll believe any dumb thing anybody tells her. And yeah, I think that probably says it all for now.
Nice. All right, and let's move over to Tony playing Dennison.
Yeah, so Dennison is a juggler who has found himself in the situation of exploration and intrigue because he believes he's on his way to entertain entertain a worthy patron of the art of juggling and his performing arts. So little does he know, he's also been kind of hired into this as kind of like a sellsword or a hired arm, and he is often found equipped with his it's his mother's sword, his a longbow, and so he knows how to fight, and he ends up being finding himself in this situation kind of in almost in a backwards way that he doesn't quite understand. So the world is dangerous, but he finds himself narrowly scraping through it.
Nice. All right, and Zach playing Tepe.
Yeah, I am playing Tepe. Tepe is a kobold gunner and tomb raider. Tepe is a little bit frantic, a little bit kind of all over the place. He was on this expedition to try to meet up with an archaeologist and hopefully work out a trade, and then came in a little bit deeper to see what was going on with this weird temple. He's friends with a ranger named Messia, who the party last time saved, and now she has kind of joined them as a sellsword.
And last but not least, Kyle playing Pulmia.
Yeah, I'm playing Pulmia the Geomancer. She has unsettling blonde hair. She will not sleep facing south, and she is currently on this adventure because I believe Tepe convinced her that if we, manage to get into the Lost City, that's guaranteeing me tenure at my university in the future. So, what's a struggling young scholar to do but to risk life and limb for science?
Nice. So how did you guys end up in this strange pyramid temple in the first place? How did that even happen?
Well, we were coming to find my professor's drinking buddy, who was a renowned hobgoblin archaeologist. We were on a kind of group expedition. We split off from the expedition, made our way through some hostile terrain, lost all our food, lost that good whiskey I was supposed to give the archaeologist, and took shelter inside this ziggurat that was standing above the ice, in which we found the dead archaeologist and kind of got sucked into this political / religious war that is happening inside this lost city.
Do you remember why Professor Hiram Middlemas was looking for the city of Synodicia?
Honestly, no.
He was trying to track down. He was trying to research the rise of the god Zargon. Just before.
Who could forget Zargon?
Who can forget Zargon? And you found this ziggurat that had the statues of 3 gods on top of it. One, a very classic sort of sky father with lightning and law tablets, and then another with a childlike figure with a wand and a bag of coins, and then a woman with a sword, holding a sword wrapped in sheaths of grain or stalks of grain. Clearly war and fertility. And those are very classic gods. You're suspecting this must have been an old temple before Zargon sort of came to prominence. And you went in and discovered that the temple of this old ziggurat of the Lost City was not abandoned at all. It still had people living in it, and talk of a city even further lower than the people you've already encountered. You also had a near run-in with a group of Zargonites who seemed to be stealing something from the Brothers of Gorm, who turned out to be the Sky God. You had a run-in later with another group of Zargonites who had seemed to have captured Messia, and you were able to save Messia, who proved that she was quite capable of taking care of herself as long as she was not outnumbered 8-1. You had a conversation with the Brothers of Gorm, who gave you some amulets suggesting you were friends of theirs, and then also gave you some maps showing you how to get to the city. And they also showed you where you should not go under any circumstances. Do not go down the stairs here. Instead, find the secret passageway here. And go meet up with others in the city. So that's our super brief recap. Does anyone have any details they want to add? Any questions they want to clarify on that?
I think Messia, I gave Messia my family heirloom war axe.
Yes, right.
So she is armed.
Messia is armed.
Do better work than I could with it.
And she still has sort of her like winter gear, hides and leather that she was in fur she was already wearing when she came to track you down.
And yeah, so the Magi god's name we figured out was Usamigaras, and the warrior maiden goddess, her name was Madarua.
Right. I'm going to check that just because I always forget their 2 names. Madarua, yep. And any other thing anybody wants to add or ask about?
We did find ourselves at the end of the last session in front of, I believe it was a shrine of Usamigaras.
Right. It was in a T intersection that had no visible way out. It's sort of, but if you went to the left, there was like a statue of Usamigaras. And you'd seen a small statue of Gorm, or a large statue of Gorm. You assume that was not the primary worship area before, that was kind of covered in offerings. This does not seem to be an active shrine. The Usamigara statue here seems to be a clean in an otherwise dusty hallway. But otherwise, not an active shrine at all. There's not little gifts or offerings or anything. There is the faint sound of music sort of coming from somewhere, like flute and drum. And before we get any further into setting the scene, I did want to give y'all a chance to talk about any wishes you had for this session. And at the end of last session, we talked a little bit about, or at the beginning of last session, we wanted to give you guys a chance to use charisma a little bit more, get a few questions, get some rough visual reference going on. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think just to reiterate the point from last session that it'd be nice if we can like keep communicating like which numbered room we're in.
Okay.
Yeah, just because it was a little tough to track, but I understand there's also rooms that aren't numbered. Like there's hallways that aren't numbered. So
yeah. And Yelnara, why don't you check your wisdom real quick?
Sure. Are you okay if I use just a...
You can use
personal
your own
dice?
die or the die roller.
So I rolled a 7.
So you're under your wisdom, so you're good. You also speak the language down here. As a gnome, why do you think as a gnome you've figured out this sort of cuneiform written ancient weird language?
Gnomes have always had to rely on sort of the charity of other species.
Okay.
Because we are pretty small, and so being diplomatic with the various big folks has always done us well. And we know the best way to be diplomatic is to speak the language. So we actually we pass down thousands of languages to our children, and as a community, hopefully, we can speak all of them. So I just lucked out and I learned this useless cuneiform language that was last used by, a gnome in our community 800 years ago or something.
Nice. Very nice. All right. All right. So both Yelnara and I believe Tepe speak the language.
Yeah, Tepe knows it.
All right. So humans have forgotten all their ancient languages, but everybody else has to study them.
Yeah, that was my other request, I think, from last session was that
hopefully more than one language.
More than one language in this dungeon. Yeah.
All right. All right. So clear that out. All right. Any other wishes or anything anybody wants to add before we move on?
I'll just give a wish, which is that it's been a couple weeks since I've played this character, and there are a lot of things I don't remember about her. So I would wish that all y'all be forgiving with me for maybe retconning some of her motivations, and anything you can throw my way, I'll take. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just like the first few episodes of a TV series. Characters grow and change, possibly more than they do their entire run in the first 3 episodes. And Kyle, to your request, also don't shy away from asking me for numbers if you're having trouble kind of figuring out where we are on the map. For people at home, yes, they have player maps because they were very nice to the Brothers of Gorm and got player maps from them. So, So don't hesitate to ask me if I've forgotten to give you a number about kind of or a rough idea of where you were. So you're in area 19, which is a T-shaped hallway. You came out of storage room. You came out of the storage room into a hallway that went both to your left and to your right. There seems to be some sort of really heavy-duty doorway that's positioned very oddly. It's positioned to your right, all the way at the end of the rightward hallway. That end of the hallway is sort of got a curved if you were looking at it, the left far end of that hallway, or if you turn and look right, the left-hand wall, the north wall, has sort of a curved cut in it, and the door is in that sort of curved cut in it. You can kind of see that on the map I've given you, and it doesn't have a discernible lock like a key you could use, but it has a lot of mechanisms with it, and there is a statue of Usamigaras at the end, with his mouth open as if he was about to say something, or their mouth open as if they're about to say something, holding out a wand and a bag of coins, from which coins are visibly almost as if they're about to spill out. This is all sort of carved into that bronze statue. What do you do?
Sorry, is that statue? That's just to clarify, that statue is on the western end, right? One. Okay. That
statue's on the western end. On the northeastern end is where the weirdly positioned door. The door is weird in and of itself, but the fact that it's sort of positioned in the northeast corner rather than just the eastern wall is especially weird. And all the sheer volume of mechanisms that seem to be part of it. And who had the light? Was it Tepe who had the light? Or
I believe I had it last.
Okay.
I think so.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
So I think Tepe like currently has the lantern, like is holding that lantern over the map and is like, I don't understand this. What is this circle? What are these arrows? Pull me at. Hey, what do you make of this? Huh?
And if you remember, the Brothers of Gorm told you that this was really difficult to explain.
They did say we'd understand once we got there, though, that it was some kind of frivolous creation of their ancestors.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is, but I think maybe it's some kind of machine. What about this statue, though? Like, the other statue had all those offerings, and this one's got nothing. Seems a little strange.
Yeah, poor kid. He's forgotten all in this corner. I still have. Well, actually, my Oracle's Incense does not have a delta, so it doesn't have like a use up number. Did I use all of it with the Followers of Gorm?
Let's give it a delta of 6, so you can check to see if it went down to a D4.
Okay. How do I? Gotta remember how to use roll. Okay, no, it is still at a delta 6.
Mm-hmm.
Could I? I think Tepe might go over to it, and especially if he was told that this is a god of trade. he might be, and as a traitor himself and a thief himself, I think he might take it upon himself to at least light a little incense by Usamigaras.
Are you going to light it on fire or anything like that?
That's a good question. I think he might turn to the others, and I think he might like pull out the incense and turn to the others and be like, "What do you think? Probably don't risk it."
I think I will use my auspicious placement spell to try to figure out the best place to burn some incense on this this shrine. And like, since I don't know, do you think this is an HP? Like, it feels like it's barely even a practical effect, but I guess it's relevant, maybe. So,
I feel like, maybe just one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And if you want to check your either foci or material components, that would be good.
I don't have any. That's my personal quest is to find some.
Nice. Okay. So why don't you? Yeah. So you're just doing that. That's not a. And describe for me this ritual and sort of what you're trying to learn from the ritual.
I think let's see, what do I have on me? Yeah, I think I kind of maybe take the lantern from Tepe and kind of like move the lantern to the left and right across this hallway and look at the way that the shadows move that are cast by the statue. And I'm doing like some kind of weird geometry in my head to figure out the most auspicious place to place this incense so that Usamigaras will be pleased with us.
So you're doing that, and separately from the spell, I'd like you to make a wisdom check.
Cool. All right. My wisdom is 13. Okay. Let's go. 5. That's a success.
So I think the results of the spell suggest that you would normally place either unburned grains of incense, or else a fire in the hand where the top of the purse that Usamigaras is holding sort of forms a flat surface, a deceptively flat surface. And then, but as you move towards that, you notice that the two things, there's something weird about the mouth, which is open, but it's not just that sort of like slightly recessed bronze cavity that's brushed with black. It's actually like there's a hollow in there. And also the hand holding the wand seems to have a mechanism behind it.
Yeah, and so I sort of hand like I kind of like take the lantern and I'm like gesturing for somebody to take it. I know Tepe is trying to get this incense going and stuff, so I don't necessarily want to give it back.
I can take. Dennison can grab the lantern. Use it.
Cool. And yeah, and I kind of like walk over to the statue and sort of like gesture towards the mouth and towards the wand, and like there's some kind of machine in here. This isn't just any old statue.
What do the rest of you do? And to pay, it's not unusual for people without a brazier to leave unburned incense.
Okay.
Little beads of the resinous incense.
Yeah, I think for now, Tepe might like go up to join Polmia and like sets the unburning incense down on that flat surface, and I think maybe joins Polmia to like kind of like inspect the figure and see if this is a machine. I think Tepe is even like, is it even meant to be worshipped, or is it just a trick? And start inspecting it.
I mean, certainly that now that Palmia discerned it, it's odd that the tops of the coins would form such a flat surface if you weren't supposed to put anything there honorifically, as if you know, you're putting things into Usamigaras' purse as a way of reverencing the god. But do you want to make a wisdom roll yourself there, Tepe?
That is bad. That is an 18 out of 11.
Yeah, it's, you know, Pulmia is not wrong. There is definitely a weird seam. I mean, the mouth is definitely hollow, and there's a weird seam around the left hand that holds the wand.
Can Dennison also consider this?
Mm-hmm.
He's okay. So
just roll equal or under your wisdom there.
I got a 5.
Okay.
So I got 8. I have a 9 wisdom.
And what are you doing there, Dennison, to sort of get further information?
He was thinking of just shining the lantern a little closer. When he looked at the slot, he thought that maybe this altar would be useful in terms of showing your allegiance, and yeah, it might just be like a, now that he has rations, maybe water, he's thinking of maybe putting some water on there or something, just to like see if it can clear away or see if it's can reveal anything.
Water where?
Well, I was thinking like the hand or the wand, where you said there was a place to put. There's a surface to put things on.
No, that's in the other hand holding the purse.
The purse, okay. So I guess he's thinking of putting it in the purse. He doesn't have anything quite like coin shaped. I feel like that's what my instinct as a player is saying, and since I did well in the roll, maybe he would have that idea too.
Yeah, it looks like that's more just a pattern for a plate, you know, like a very stylized plate for whatever you're going to offer. There doesn't seem to be any mechanism there. It's that right hand holding the wand, or the left hand holding the wand, that not only has a seam, but a seam that's it's not just bad sculpture.
Yeah, I guess then
it definitely is doing something separate. Are you still pouring the water over it?
You know, I think that'd be a little cumbersome for a one-handed action, since I am holding the lantern. I think he's just going to take the wand and try to, like,
you can't set a lantern down. It's a nice thing about lanterns.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think he'll just take the wand though and twist it and see if that.
So tell me what you're doing when you twist it.
Well, I'm feeling around. I'm gripping it and feeling if at that seam if it rotates one way or the other. So I guess I'm like,
it seems to rotate both ways, just with a jiggle. Though it's definitely going to click if you rotate it much more than like half an inch, either direction. It's not getting resistance, but it's definitely like it's something clockwork is clicking to the right and something clockwork is clicking to the left.
Does that have any kind of visible effect on the mouth?
No. So you're not. I'm assuming you're not turning it all the way either direction. You're just sort of testing to see. If
I'd probably consult the others for that before doing it.
But definitely, like once you turn it like half an inch to the left or half an inch to the right, you're going to hit a bit of clockwork or gear.
I mean, I think Dennison he's kind of a mind where he just wants to do it. So if anyone else, he's like, does anyone care whether I turn this left or right? It's going to go one direction or the other.
I don't know enough about Usamigaras to know which direction they prefer.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know enough about Usamigaras either. He'll turn it, I guess, to the left then, and see what happens.
Click it to the left, and you overcome sort of that almost like a ball bearing click resistance type. Something depresses and it clicks, and then the entire wall behind the statue shrine and the statue shrine itself move backwards. And the length of the wall at the end here is about 10 feet across, and it creates a small opening about 3 feet across, leading into a chamber beyond, or a hallway beyond.
Well, looks like we can venture even further in. I guess I could pick up the lantern and go a little further in, unless you want to hold it. I'm okay holding it.
Oh, I'm quite all right.
I broke my last one, just as a warning.
Maybe give it to pay. Better to have it closer to the ground.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Right.
Sure. I'll hand it to him. To pay. Any volunteers? I guess my eyes will twitch around since I've been.
You don't want to go forward?
First line of fire often. Well, I guess we'd send the light forward too, or I could go with the light and to pay. Let's just go. I guess I'm just gonna go and crawl through the hall. Hear that?
And it's not only 3 feet high; it's just 3 feet wide.
Okay. Yeah, no. So I'll head on through. I guess that means that we could basically go shoulder to shoulder and make it through.
You do hear a clicking, as if there's some sort of clockwork underneath it.
Oh, maybe we have time.
Yeah, it's on timer.
Are you going through?
Clockwork.
I'm gonna see if is everyone else okay going through. I don't want to like make the decision for everybody and then split us up.
I'll follow you. I'm behind you.
If Tepe is like gonna be sort of like standing there, sort of like sorry, not Dennison. Sorry. If Dennison's gonna be there standing there like indecisive, I think Yelnara is just gonna be like, "Come on, guys, we found an opening. Let's move."
Okay,
and
great.
She's gonna sort of like weave her way into the front.
Is everyone else following Yelnara?
Yeah.
All right. Shortly after you get through, the statue sort of swings back into place, as if something beneath the floor sort of pivoted it. Not quickly, not aggressively, but definitely sort of something sort of swings it back, and you hear it click. And you're in a hallway. It'll be the one just between 14A.
15 and 19?
Yeah, 15. Sorry, you're between 15, 19, and 14A.
And we've never been in any of these rooms before, right?
None of you have ever been down here.
Did we get any descriptions of these rooms from the Gormites?
We know that generally in this area is where the worshippers of Usamigaras are. So this is where we want to be. I think Tepe might like convey that as I think wait, who has the map? Because I said I had the map earlier, but I don't actually know if that's true. Tepe might be carrying too much stuff.
I mean, you have Messia there too, who can also hold map.
Oh yeah. Anyways, so which way do we go? North 14? Do we go south?
14A is where the music you heard earlier is now louder and is coming much more loudly from 14A. I mean, still in a muted sense that like it will be louder when you open the door, but and both those doors are pretty nondescript.
I think maybe we should head up to 14A. I don't know. It's just my guess based on the last shrine we went to, but I'm betting 15 is some kind of storeroom. If we go in there first, they'll probably get angry at us.
Yeah, I'm not trying to look like I'm snooping. I'd rather have them give us stuff than get them mad at us.
Are there any like cracks, or is there anything like keyhole or anything we could look through into the door to 14A?
One sec. Yeah. You get a little waft of incense smoke from it, and it's hard to make things out specifically, but there seem to be people moving around in candlelight. And definitely maybe dancing based on the fact that they're moving semi-rhythmically. And again, this is keyhole look at them, so you're not seeing their full bodies. You're sort of just seeing people in motion around the room. And you're hearing sort of flute and drum.
So Yelnara is gonna like come back down from like standing on tippy toes, look through the keyhole, and she's just gonna make a gesture of like knocking on the door, sort of look back at everybody else.
And I just kind of whispered to Tepe, get some of that incense ready.
I think Tepe turns to Yelnara and I think like mirrors the shrug and like gestures like
Tepe, roll a d4.
Okay. Where'd that? Oh, I think that's. I got 2. Is that good or bad?
Yeah, you've got a few crumbs of incense left. You were scraping the bottom of the incense bag.
Okay.
So if nobody objects, Yelnara's gonna kind of stand. So that which way does the door swing? Does the door swing towards the statue we came from, or does it swing out?
Sorry, it swings away from you, so into the room.
Into the room. She's gonna like knock on the door if nobody stops her, and then kind of immediately sort of pivot around and press her back up against the wall so that when the door opens, she's not immediately visible.
What are the rest of you doing?
I think I will probably just not obviously draw out my darts, but I'll put my hand near the darts just in case.
Right. Okay.
And,
Oh, sorry.
Sure. I was going to go also kind of slink back a bit and like keep my bow handy so that I could respond if needed. But I'll try to make myself I'll kind of hide myself up against a wall as well, closer to 19.
And what about you, Tipe?
I think to pay is kind of just standing in the door. Doesn't I think is just kind of standing there. Doesn't have his hand on his arquebus. Might kind of have his I don't know, maybe is leaning on the shillelagh a little bit, but I think he just has one hand in his pocket, kind of playing with the polished rocks that he has for throwing.
Mm-hmm.
But he is not concerned particularly. We were told that this is where we needed to go. Things went really well last time, so Tepei's pretty confident.
All right. And Pomea, you're also standing out visible where Yelnara and Denison are both sort of standing back. Correct? Am I understanding the scene correctly? Okay. All right. Yelnara knocks, and all of a sudden the music stops. And Tepei and Yelnara, you hear a voice sort of come through the door going, "Who is it?" And you hear a hand on the knob, but it's not turning yet.
And is the voice speaking this cuneiform language that...
Yeah, that you
Okay.
and Tepei do, that you understand.
I'm just gonna mention if you're close to me, I'm gonna kind of show the amulet again with Gorm's face to remind you that we might have something that we have in common. So if you need to answer or show them, you can show them that.
Don't they not like each other?
This might still be Gorm. I think this is still in the bottom southwest. So
I see,
yeah,
okay.
the southeast is the one that was Gorm.
Oh, yeah, and we're in the southwest.
Right.
Okay.
I was also under the impression that they got along okay, even if they didn't really. Was that impression wrong? I thought they were.
Yeah, it was more of they're exasperated with each other,
but they're not hostile.
Right. They're not. You didn't get the impressions from the Gormites that they were setting out to attack. They were just sort of exasperated by the lack of action or ability to communicate with.
Yelnara, do you want to call out to them or should to pay?
I was thinking maybe neither.
Oh,
Like, let's just see if this person was it a woman's voice? Let's see if this person kind of.
It was an ambiguous voice.
Okay, let's see if they push the door open.
And after a moment, you hear some moving around in the room. And some walking. And then you see somebody sort of turn the knob and just sort of like move the door like half an inch inward, and then it just stops. And the room is really quiet.
Can we see anything through that half-inch crack?
You cannot.
I mean,
you can see a very dimly lit room with a few candles. You can smell through the crack burning incense. But you can't see much.
I think Yelnara's gonna cough.
There's just silence from inside the room.
Are you gonna open the door? I mean, we've been standing out here now for like a couple minutes. Sorry to bother your ceremony, but just passing through and needed to have a word. You know,
you can now hear sounds of machines. And you hear it tapping on the handle, and somebody like opens it about an inch. But still, you don't see anybody standing near or in front of the door.
you're with Usamigaras, right? We were sent by Gorm upstairs to. They told us that y'all were safe.
And there's another second of silence, and then somebody comes around the edge of the door and opens it wider. It's a very, very young looking person, wearing a silver mask. It's a lot like the silver mask, somewhat like a carnival mask, or maybe it has some owlish features to it. But it's almost exactly like the mask that the child deity is wearing in all the statues of the child deity. And like pushes the door back. And then somebody else wearing that Gorm mask you saw upstairs sort of steps around the door and looks at you, seems to stare at the amulet you're wearing. And then they look at each other, and then one of them looks back at you and says, "Why are you here?"
We have come to find common ground with you and the others living here on this floor. Zargon threatens us all.
Does Palmy need to be translated? Are they speaking common now that we've?
No, but I think Tepe had said he was translating.
Okay.
Previously.
Yeah, I was.
Tepe, let me know if anything stops. If that stops at any point.
I was going to translate by default last session. I don't know if Yelnara wants to try to withhold translations.
It's good if you want to translate. Yelnara's going to let you do that.
You can also lead the translations too. I just wanted it to be default so that we didn't need to keep like playing telephone.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah. Tepe and Yelnara, just tell me if you want to interrupt or not translate, or you want to mistranslate or something like that. We'll figure that out. But otherwise, I'll just assume you're doing that. And the person with the Gorm mask sort of steps forward. You can only see like the bottom of his jaw, but there's a certain flustered anxiety to his bearing. And he says in a whisper to Yelnara and Tepe, noticing your Gorm amulets, he just leans down and whispers to the two of you, like, "I told you they're degenerates. We can't trust them."
Precisely.
There was dancing.
Disgusting.
And as the door sort of comes open, you can see a whole bunch more people in sort of the silver mask. And they're all wearing very flowy. The room is very, very warm. There's several braziers going. And they're all wearing very flowy robes with open sides. And the robes are very, very colorful. You would guess by the sheer colorfulness of the robe that they had some sort of ceremonial significance, mixed with the fact that there was music and incense. And you see a few more people in this quasi-brass, pseudo-golden mask of Gorm, sort of standing around, looking a bit lost, as the people in the silver mask stare at you intently.
Well, what do you say? Do you have nothing to say about Zargon?
Someone in a silver mask with a beard underneath it steps forward. And his robe is far more colorful, and there's a good bit of jewelry. And he says just loud enough for the two of you to hear. It's that whole, like, I'm saying this just loud enough for you to hear, but I'm not talking to you thing. To one of the other sort of Usamigaras people in colorful robes. It was like, well, they interrupted the ritual where we were supposed to be deciding what to do about Zargon.
You think we interrupted, but maybe the ritual worked. Maybe the ritual brought us. What do you think about that?
Precisely.
And what do you know about magic?
Oh, many things. I am a fellow student of magic. In fact, I use some magic to find our way here. Perhaps Usamigaras has given their blessing.
A few of them seem to be starting to turn to look at the silver-masked man in a beard. Tomia, why don't you roll your charisma? Check your charisma there.
19.
Oh, Pomia. So several of them start listening and looking around, and the man in the silver mask just starts to laugh. Laugh, and it's just typical Gormite arrogance. And then awkwardly, the other people in silver mask start to giggle or laugh as well. And the people in the Gorm mask sort of like hover in part of the room. The room is pretty ornate. There is a very large statue of Usamigaras there, in front of several tapestries that have celestial patterns on them. Actual astronomical charts sort of done up as tapestries, it looks like. And that's largely what covers the wall. There's a door outward, sort of opposite of where you came in. You can see it on the map, I believe. But the Gormites are looking really huffy, and the Magi are starting to sort of giggle or laugh.
I want to cast Detect Evil on this guy who's giving us shade.
Yeah, take that cost, because that's not going to cost you anything.
Okay.
Or it's not, you're not going to need to roll anything for that.
Okay.
Just the cost. And
cool. I think that's 2 HP.
As he is looking down at you, Pomia, you know, as soon as he says it, that he is not evil. But certainly does not seem to trust you guys.
And I think I just say, you know, I've made my sort of somatic component in my spell, you know, draw the circle and stuff, and I say, magic has shown me that you are no follower of Zargon. So why do you mock us? Why is there doubt in your heart?
And he's like, Zargon has oppressed our people for almost 1,000 years, centuries. Tried to blot out the cult of Usamigaras and leave our God forgotten. We have sustained and been safe because we have kept our heads down and not oppressed or stood against the followers of Zargon openly. And We cannot risk some Gormite fancy on opposing Zargon openly now. And lets out harumph, and several of the people standing near him sort of harumph along with him.
I think I kind of turned to the others, like, do you guys have a better argument here?
I don't think Dennison does. I think he's going to talk and not to translate this, just talk with you guys and say, like, maybe we have to see what ritual they were trying to do. So obviously they feel like we ruined it.
Oh, maybe I could help with that.
Yeah, maybe I could help with that, with like some of the dancing or something.
I kind of want to. No, go.
No, actually, it's fine. Go. I'm going to close the door because there's some background noise.
I was just gonna say, yes, I agree, and I kind of want to know what the Gormites are doing here. Did we hear what the Gormites were doing here?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah, I do want to know that, but otherwise, I'm down to like ask if we can just observe or help in the ritual or whatever. Like, let's make it happen.
As you talk about helping in the ritual, the Gormites look slightly appalled. And disturbed. And those Usamigarans are hesitant. As you talk about helping in the ritual, what's your approach, Yelnara and Tepe, since you speak the language?
So Yelnara has a bunch of bear feathers from her work as a magician's thief. She probably stole them for him at some point and didn't get a chance to deliver them. So I think she's just going to offer, like, hey, y'all probably could use some supplies. I could give you a couple bear feathers, help out. Doing some magic ritual stuff.
Nice.
And I will say, magic led me to find all of you. Perhaps it's best that I assist with your ritual. Let Usamigaras decide the matter.
And Tepe and Dennison, you can see that the Brothers of Gorm seem to be getting deeply agitated as the musicians with the flute and drum start to sort of pick up the music sort of hesitantly at first. And then a few others start doing some ecstatic dancing. But at first it's very sort of timid and haphazard and just sort of like they're trying to get into it. But they're not really sure what to do. The guy in the beard is still sort of eyeing you, Pomia. As he goes towards the statue and starts raising his arms up towards the statue. And the Gormites are just, one of them actually like puts his mask in his hand, is like in what looks like exasperation. Dennison, you mentioned starting dancing.
Yeah, I think so. Now that some of them are going, I think he'll join in to their ritualistic dancing.
Make a charisma check.
Okay. I do not pass.
How'd you do?
17 out of 13.
Yeah, with you starting to dance, everybody else is sort of getting hesitant. And the Gormites are looking especially appalled. Yelnara, what are you doing with now that they've started doing something around the statue again, though? What are you doing with the bear owl feathers?
I think I'm just gonna, like hold one out to like one of these not yet fully dancing figures and be like, I can help you out with some bear owl feathers. These are fresh, straight from a bear owl, top quality, probably really useful. I know magic. It's kind of my thing, actually. Big into magic.
Yelnara, why don't you make a charisma check? Tell me how you do.
Not so great. 17 out of 12.
Tepe, what are you doing?
I think while the others are helping out in this ritual, I think I want to go up to the Gormites and be like, so these guys don't seem to like Gormites all too much. Canadius sent us. What's going on?
Well, it just started as like they invited us to a ritual. We didn't know it was going to be one of their weird, degenerate Usamigaras rituals.
What's so degenerate about it? It kind of just looks like they're dancing.
Oh, there's dancing, and it's ecstatic dancing. It's not even like proper dancing.
Okay, all right. You had me thinking they were going to eat somebody.
All of them are showing far too much skin, and they're just. Auriga is always so haughty. Like, oh, I worship Usamigaras, and that makes me better.
Ariga's the big pretentious guy who made fun of us. Yeah, he seems like a jerk. Well, so it sounds like we just kind of need to sit here while they dance, and then maybe we can ask them for help. Is that it? Am I getting that right?
What help would they provide? They've never helped anyone before. 800 years, it's always, well, wait. Or now's not the right time. It's just like all the other ones that came before him.
So I'm going to turn to everybody in common and be like, he kind of has a good point. Like, how are we going to do this any differently than the rest of them have done it?
I think in common, I'm like, it couldn't hurt for us, y'all, to help with this and, I don't know, get in their good graces.
And I think I'm just I'm gonna try to circudate around the dancing area, draw a big magic circle to try to aid with the ritual. I don't think I'm participating in this conversation that much.
Okay.
And my intent here is to both assist the ritual with working, but also try to add some order to this ritual in a way that would appease the Gormites.
So, and you're doing this slowly, correct, Pulmia?
Yeah.
Okay. Pulmia, make a wisdom check for me real quick. Tell me how you do.
I failed by 1.
So you know this ritual is supposed to have to do with something with discernment. And working your magic into whatever's going on, because you have some discernment associated spells, but this doesn't line perfectly with what they do.
Could I possibly roll with advantage because I'm a geomancer here?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I'm going to have you roll intelligence, and it's going to be 3, a cost of 3, because you're pushing against the normal limits of your spell number.
All right, so I'm rolling 2d20 for advantage, and I'm checking intelligence.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's an 8. So that's a success.
Did you get a double success? Just out of curiosity.
Check. Yes, I did.
Nice. Okay. I'm going to borrow that white hack rule, and if you get a double success, that's better. On advantage,
cool.
Better.
I'm down to 1 HP now. Like I'm getting messed up by doing all this magic.
So you're getting fairly worn, but 2 things occur to you. One is that the guy you were told was named Auriga is not intending to do anything magical until you get involved. You might guess he already knows exactly what he intends to tell people. And he you finish what you're doing, and you synchronize it well to he does what he's doing. Nobody is really into this ritual. Everybody seems very awkward. The Gormites seem awkward. The Usamigarans seem awkward. And then just as it starts to get to a pinnacle of whatever music there is, like the drumming picks up, and Auriga turns around. When everybody hushes, Tepe, you're pretty sure the Gormite you were talking to rolls his eyes just right then. And Auriga says the ritual words, Usamigaras has spoken. Now is the time to oppose Zargon. And then he holds his hands up like that's not what he meant to say. And all the other people in the silver mass just start bouncing up and down and clapping.
I'm doing a very tired clap.
I look at the Gormites and I kind of like gesture, like, "See, I told you."
And Auriga sort of gathers his robe out behind him and sort of loops the train of it over his wrist and just sort of walks out the door to the west. And let's go to a 10-minute break. I will see you guys at 9:50 Eastern.
Sounds good.
Everybody, let me know when you're back.
I'm back.
Tucker, I just want to make sure you were back since we can't see you. Give me a second. Oh, we lost Morgan again.
Sorry, I keep disconnecting myself accidentally.
That's all right. No worries.
Present.
All right. Morgan, I've done that before when I was the host, and that meant that the recording died. So, all right. One quick correction. Auriga stormed out in the direction you guys came in, not the wall opposite to the east. Not the door on the eastern wall opposite you. And the Gormites are looking at you, Tepe, like they're impressed, and other people are kind of coming up to the rest of you. Sort of like, well, what do we do? What do we do?
This sounds weird, but I think Dennison is concerned about where Auriga is going. I don't know if maybe Tepe would come with him to help translate.
Just to you trying to follow?
Yeah, I was going to try to follow him.
If Dennison grabbed Tepe, I think I'd go with him.
Okay, cool. So let's have Yelnara and Palmia. Are you going to talk to the people in the hall?
I think I'm probably leaning against a carpet or something, just very tired, just kind of nodding along, not really participating too much.
Yelnara, are you also sort of up here?
Yeah, I think I'll stay in the room with the room 14. I think that's the question, right?
Mm-hmm. So I think Yelnara and Palmia, most of the people at the Tepe, as you sort of head out, the Brothers of Gorm sort of start to head out that door to the east. As the Usamigaras people start to sort of hover around Yelnara and Palmia. And Yelnara, they're essentially just asking you, like, so what's next? What's the next plan?
Well, we got some pretty big ideas, about getting everybody together, some coordinated strategies. We really got a lot of good ideas. Maybe do like a pincer attack, but like a three pincer attack, because there's also Madarua. That's the plan, basically.
And Yelnara, why don't you go ahead and check your charisma?
Eight out of 12.
Thank you. Yeah, they're like, oh, yes. Yes. So you have the Madaruans on your side.
We're obviously about to succeed now that 2 of 3 factions have joined the coalition.
Exactly.
All right. Really? Okay. Right.
Besides, we have a mighty warrior with us, and I gesture over to Marcia. She will impress them with her might.
Oh, and as Marcia, they all look very impressed by Marcia, who looks vaguely confused.
I'm glad somebody's impressive out of all of us.
Like, well, we should take you to talk to the sisters.
And
Normally we go to talk to them and they throw things at us, but
I say, our friends have gone to talk to Ariga. I hate to say this, but when I was assisting with the ritual, I discerned that Ariga's heart was not in divining the will of Usamigaras. I just...
Why don't you make a charisma check?
Yeah. Okay. Good old charisma. It's not my best stat. Okay, let's see how this goes. I got an 18. Oh, needed an 11.
They're like, well, of course. I mean, he just knows the will of Usamigaras. He doesn't have to discern it.
And I kind of like nod along sagaciously. It's like, oh yes, of course, yes. I'm just like, I shoot a look over to Yelnara and kind of like, we got to drop this.
I mean, it sounds like he's really good at, magic. That's what I picked up. So.
Oh yes, very, very skilled at magic indeed. And I think I like gesture for Yelnara to go check on the others.
Tepe and Dennison, Dennison, you especially sort of like being close on his heels. I can see he went in the doorway you guys didn't go into, the one that's marked 15. He went all the way through that area, or he went into room 15.
Okay, I think I'll follow him, like just opening the door behind him, or if it's left ajar, just pushing it open and calling out for him if I can in that language, or a broken version of it.
And just as you get in there, it looks like sort of an abandoned bunk, or it looks like a bunk room, but it's empty. There's bunk beds. There's some wooden chests sort of lying around. It looks clean, but lived in, and there's nobody here.
Oh.
What?
There was more to this guy than met the eye. Apparently, he's hiding from us.
He sure left fast. I think Tepe might take a few steps into the room and start like looking around, seeing if there's any sign of Ariga.
There is, yeah. The room is clean enough that you can see he's not here. Dennison, you saw him go in this door as you were trying to get Tepe to come after you, to come with you.
Well, that is interesting. Maybe I should go tell the others, and I don't know. I'm not sure about moving further without them, but I guess we can just kind of look around. They'll probably find us.
What did you want to say to him?
I just wanted to congratulate him on his performance. He really seemed to have the whole crowd convinced.
Fair enough. Would there be any, like, if it was a teleportation spell, would there be like residue left or anything?
I think most teleportation spells you've heard of, Tepe, involve those sort of ornate ritual circles.
Big. Those are big spells.
It's just you've also seen the ornate ritual circles. And it just doesn't seem like that would be a big spell to teleport that quickly.
Can I look for a like trapdoor or anything?
Sure. Where are you going and what are you looking for?
I think I start like in the like center of the room, and then I start like looking in the I think I would look where the floor meets the wall.
Okay. In 1 second. Yeah, why don't you make a wisdom check?
I think that's a failure. That is a failure. Yes, I rolled a 13 out of 11.
You get the sense that something is odd, but you can't pinpoint where it is or what's up. I'd like to hear a little bit more about what you're doing before you retry anything or anything like that.
Yeah, I think I like start walking around the bunks, and I just start kind of like look like inspecting the seam where the floor meets the wall, or the corner where the floor meets the wall. I'm just kind of like walking around the room looking for any sign of like a door or anything.
So as Tepe does that, what are you doing, Dennison?
I think Dennison's going to help him out, and do a kind of like he's going to search as well, just look under the bunk beds and under, I don't know, around like furniture, and see if there was anywhere he could have like slipped out, or could be hiding like behind, because see, it's like I know he went through there, and this place is riddled with traps. So,
Tepe, why don't both of you make an intelligence check for me?
That is not my best stat.
Is there any chance I could use my kobold trait with that?
What's your kobold trait?
It just says kobold, but I'm wondering if I could use it as being able to sneak through like understanding how like sneaky passages are built in corridors.
That's really good. Why don't you do that?
All right, great. And that gives me advantage, right? When I use a trait.
I did not pass mine. 14 out of 5.
20. I got 2 8s out of 11.
2 8s out of 11. So I think what you realize, Tepe, is that you're pretty sure you can rule out going to the eastern wall of this room, because that would be roughly where the stairs are, unless he was going down in some way, which doesn't seem right, or it seems less obvious. You can definitely rule out the western wall, because that's got to be the external wall of the pyramid at this level. So the back wall seems the most obvious, and you're already sort of looking around on the floor looking for those potential gaps. Tell me how you look for gaps, especially if they're really small.
I think I get my nose up in there, and I am like sniffing for any change in like air temperature or air pressure or whatever. You got that long kobold snout. It's good for changes in environment.
You already have an idea what to look for. You know roughly where, if there is a secret door, you've sort of narrowed, other than a trap door. And you can also see with that intelligence check, you know that there's not like an under the bed trap door. Like that would be a lot of moving a bed. or a lot of moving on somebody else's bed to get the trapdoor to work. And all the beds seem to be in the right place. Like there's no scuff marks and no dispersal of dust or anything like that that would suggest a bed had just been moved. And everything seems to be pretty evenly spaced. And if he went down a trapdoor under the bed, then he would have had to move the stuff. And there's the stone in here is not the kind of thing you would build a trapdoor out of. Because there's not any rugs or carpets on the ground that have been overturned. So it's got to be that southern wall, or that's the most likely. And I think with two sources of advantage, being both the kobold and already sort of getting the layout of the room and narrowing down where it has to be, you're able to find that spot in that southern wall that pivots with just enough space for you to slide through. And you still have actually there's torches in here. There's torches in here, and there's relatively new burning torches on the far side of that secret door. And there is a closed door at the end of that hallway. What do the two of you do? So you can now see that secret passageway between 15 and 16. And you see the closed door to 16. And there's torches in here. And there's definitely a light coming under that door to 16 as well.
I am talking without my thing unmuted. It's fine because I kind of want to take back what I said anyway. I think I'll draw my sword and mother's sword, and kind of I'm hoping it kind of like I was actually planning on using it to find wherever this guy had gone, planning on using it as like light. But now I guess I'm just gonna keep it out in terms of like I want to talk to this guy, but I don't want him to like lash out at us because we're invading his space. So yeah, I think Dennison's gonna walk up to the door, make sure Tepe is on board with this, and just kind of glance us sideways to him, and then I think he'll just try to go in through the door, check to see if it's unlocked. He knows the light's on, so.
Tepe, are you doing anything else or anything different?
No, I think I'm following along. I think I leave, if I've had the lantern, I leave it, I think, at this door. Polmia told us, Polmia announced that this guy wasn't evil, so I don't think I'm like readying my weapons or anything, but I'm following along with Dennison. Dennison wants to talk to this dude, and I'm willing to help out. I hate this Ariga guy, so I'm willing to lay him out a little bit.
Yeah. And Dennison, like the door's not locked, so you're just opening it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see what he's up to. I'm not like opening it and ready, but I'm opening it and sword kind of at the side.
And as you open the door, Dennison, there is a low growl. Bestial. And you see Ariga sitting on a low bed. Opposite a desk was covered with papers. and petting what looks like a very large wolf, kind of under the chin. And the wolf is now growling and sort of sizing you up. And Auriga sort of looks up at you. And I think I want to cut there to Yelnara and Polmia, who are in back with the
I had kind of gestured for Yeldar to go join the others because I'm just too wasted to take on a shady priest.
So we would have followed into the room to the south. Is it obvious to us that they would have gone to the south and not to the east?
Just Polmia, are you following it all, or are you going to stay in here with the Usamigarans? And that was a question for Polmia.
I am staying in the room.
Okay.
I'm just not up for
Yeah.
adventure antics at the moment. 1 HP.
Do you want to have some food while you wait?
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
And remember, you eat your food supply. You check your delta, and if it goes, you become more than that, it goes down. You recover that many hit points.
6 seconds, no food.
Yelnara, you slip in. You see them going through that secret door, and then stopping in the door about 20 feet beyond that.
Okay, cool. So the door stays open, or is it one of these things that I have to like race to catch it before it slides shut?
No, it's going to stay open. I don't.
So yeah, I'm just gonna like march up. Probably, I imagine maybe I'd get there right as the door is opening with the wolf, and just be like, "Hey guys, what's up with this? You know, what are you doing here?"
And yeah, you see with the same thing they saw a couple of seconds after they saw it.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna run away from the wolf.
So you're just sort of backing down the hallway?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think gnomes and wolves do well together, you know? So I'm just gonna kind of back off.
To pay and Denison, what are the two of you doing?
I'm gonna ask. I'm just gonna say to him, like, I wanted to congratulate you on the performance. You really had that group the palm of your hand.
Why, thank you, and congratulations to your friend.
Well, you must be happy, right, Auriga? The Usamigaras spoke. He's leading your congregation. Aren't you happy?
His eyes tell you he's not happy. Is it? And his voice in a very flat tone says, "Delighted, absolutely delighted."
So Yelnara is gonna kind of like sort of yell forward, like, actually, Polmia said that it was fake. He was doing fake magic, not the real deal.
Well, you know, Usamigaras helps those who help themselves. I don't need to talk to him to know what's best for the congregation.
There he goes again. He's got me convinced. I'm just like grinning back to the group, and I'm like, what more do we need to hear? I'm going to ask him if there's anything we can do for him while we're preparing the while we're making preparations for our next moves.
Oh, no. It's so nice of you to check with me, though. But no. I mean, you can, you know, Denison, make a charisma check.
Sure. All right, I got a 9, so pass.
You can let me come back with you and keep them under control. Keep them from all getting killed, doing something stupid.
But we have this really great strategy that we're going to use to take out Zargon. Good strategy.
I'm just going to be like, no, it's okay. We probably want him with them. They're his leader. Or at least he's their something. He's something to them.
I am the High Magus.
Yeah, and as the High Magus, I'm sure you want to obey Usamigaras' wishes and, lead your folk against Zargon. So what you doing back here?
It's always surprising when Usamigaras tells me something I didn't know to begin with.
I'm just gonna.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no. I really quickly. I'm gonna be like, yeah, we know he's fraud. Now he knows we know he's a fraud. It's just hurting my head. I'm just gonna can't think this hard this fast. I think I'm just gonna I might even just kind of whoosh my long hair back and actually go back to the celebration chamber because I'm also hungry and exhausted and then shouldn't be adventuring on low on steam.
He kind of rummages through his robes and pulls on a toga-like thing kind of over the rainbow-colored one that has, kind of the night sky on it. And looks at you, Tepe, and says well, we're committed now, aren't we? And pets the wolf and sort of you can go now. I'll be right behind you.
I think Tepe nods and says, all right, we'll see you out there. And I think he turns to look at Denison and even back to Yelnara, I don't know, should we trust this? Should we just leave this dude back here? It seems sketch, but I don't.
Now he's sort of right behind you. All right, closing the door, locking it.
Yeah. I think, once he pushes us out, I'm definitely okay, that's something that's sketchy, right? That he's up to something weird, huh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's up to something.
What do you think he feeds that wolf, huh?
Tepe and Denison both can make a wisdom check. Each of you can make a wisdom check.
I got it. I did not pass 16 out of 9.
I also did not pass. I got a 15 out of 11.
The wolf was scary.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, for various values of scary, but the wolf was scary. But he's walking very genteelly. He sort of walks past you, Tepe, and moves to sort of walk past the two of you at the end of the little hallway, back into the bunk room. Are you coming?
I think I just have to look at Yelnara and be like, we're coming. And I'll go past him. So the wolf was still in there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take a break but
get some food.
I mentioned to Yelnara that I'll be coming. And I'm saying that in common, of course.
He just moves right past you, sort of like you can see it, like you can see him as he's moving through the bunk room, sort of getting ready to go into the main chamber where you left everybody. As he sort of squares his jaws and he squares not his jaws, he squares his shoulders, and he looks like he's about to go on stage. He's getting that whole sort of like into character vibe going on as he passes by the three of you, ready to kind of re-enter the ritual chamber. What are the rest of you doing?
I think
Following him?
I just like brush the crumbs away from my mouth with my robe.
Yeah.
And I look up and I stand up and I say, so good of you to rejoin us. We were just thinking of going to talk to Madarua's followers.
And he arches his eyebrows and it's like, yes, the Warrior Maidens would be good to have as... And who's translating for you at this point? Since is anybody who translates back in the room with you? Just to be clear.
I was going to stay behind.
Stay behind. I get. Yeah, sure. I'm there translating then.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm into it.
And Tepe, he looks at you and then looks over at Pulmia and is like, that's not a terrible idea. They would make excellent allies. But Tepe, you know the word he chose for allies has overtones of cannon fodder.
What a jerk.
And I just give him a look like, okay, game recognized game. Nod. And I say, it so happens that we have a warrior maiden of our own. I'm sure she will convince them of our prowess.
He kind of sizes up Messia and he's like, I am justly intimidated. It's like, and then addresses everyone in the silver mask and is like, let us take a moment and bow in thanks to Usamigaras for leading us. And here he glares at Pulmia to this most recent development. And Denison and Yelnara, what were you up to?
I might I might have busted out some food right then, but actually,
you can eat anywhere.
Okay.
I mean, it's, you know.
Yeah. But I'll keep an eye on what Yelnara is doing, because I had an inkling that she was going to go and tinker with that door. So I'll keep my sword at the ready, and yeah, I guess I'll just be down in the bunk room maybe, or in the hallway.
Roll your d6.
Oh yeah.
For your food supply.
I get a 3. So that
all right. So it goes down to a d4, but you regain 3 hit points.
Cool.
And Yelnara, what are you up to?
So Yelnara's going to kind of start singing a thieving song to herself. And she's going to take out, she has a vial of paralyzing poison. And she's going to take a piece of her food. And she's going to pull out the vial of paralyzing poison. And she's just going to put, an appropriate amount of drops inside the food.
Do you have a delta on that vial of paralyzing poison?
I do. It's delta 6.
All right. So check both your food and the poison. And tell me which order you're checking them in.
I'm going to check the poison first.
Okay.
Delta 6. I rolled a 6.
Okay.
And now I'm going to check food. Delta 8.
Okay.
And I rolled a 2.
Okay. You should just have a delta. You should just have a delta 6.
Oh, really? I
Okay,
saw everybody else had Delta 8.
No, everybody started with delta 6 of food.
Oh.
Because you lost all the food you got from anything else.
Okay.
And then the knights gave you, or the brothers gave you a D6 each.
Cool. Okay.
Sorry about being confusing there. So you have a D4 of food, but you have a poison bit of it. How are you getting into the door he locked? You saw him lock.
Does my light-fingered trait, do we feel like that would extend to trying to pick locks? I was going to see if I could.
What are you picking him with? We can do 2 things. We can do retroactive money check. Do you have any money, or did you have any money?
Yeah, I do have some money.
What kind of money do you have there?
I have some silver.
You can check your silver, or you can do a dexterity check to try to retroactively steal his key on his way out of the room.
Oh, well, that's definitely a thing I would have tried to do.
Okay.
Try to steal his key. I feel like that's more her angle, yeah.
All right.
Of course. So, do I light finger stealing a key? Would that be a advantageous trait use?
Yeah.
So, flashback to 30 seconds ago as he was brushing past me, and I was just making a go for his key. And I got a 9 and a 6 out of 14.
That's, yeah. You got you got just the key. You were able to slip it off the ring without even taking it off his belt. Exactly the key.
So I'm going to like hold up the key and the poisoned like food to Dennison. And I'm just going to be like, check this out. Check this out. And I'm just going to tiptoe up to the door, stand on my tiptoes.
Nice.
Unlock the door with the key. And I'm just going to push the door open a tiny little bit, lob the food in, and then try and pull it closed behind me. Or not behind me, in front of me. I'm trying just to like drop the food in like I'm throwing a grenade into the room or something, and then closing the door again.
Nice. Make a dexterity check. Just for fun. Actually, that's not that hard. I feel like tossing a bit of food in is not that hard. I'd like you to make a wisdom check, though.
So, got a 10 out of 12.
As you like stick your nose in, toss the food, and the wolf starts to growl, and then you pull back. You see the wolf is not chained to the wall. The wolf is chained to a chest. And you give it a few seconds and you're pretty sure that would be the effect. What do you do?
Now I'm going to look at Dennison. And I'll be like, want to check it out?
Yeah.
Poison. I'm going to like point at the door and kind of gesture like.
I guess I'll try to Dennison's going to try to trying to keep himself small and not have a sword drawn to piss off the wolf. So I'll put that away before he goes and creeps in. Or creeps in for a look. I don't know. Are we going in so we can make sure that the food is within range?
So you oh no, yeah, like you already tossed the food in.
Okay.
Yeah, you open the door and the wolf is sort of on the ground in sort of a ball. It's got a sickliness to the way it's stunned or out or unconscious. It does not look like a dog who is sleeping restfully. It looks like something that is sleeping off a fever or a sickness or something.
All right. Well, we might. So this chest doesn't look like it's part of the temple itself, right? It's like
No, it's just a chest that the wolf is chained to.
Yeah. I think we should have a look, see if it's locked. We might not have the key for this one, huh?
Could get lucky and it could be the same key.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. I'm going to go over and try to open it. Oh, we just lost someone.
We'll get Zach back in a moment. Okay. We got Zach back. So let's just do your. What are you doing?
Just going over and checking the chest. Dennison will.
Checking it how?
Just seeing if it will open on its own. Like with if there's a latch, I can just unhinge.
Yeah, no, it's definitely locked.
Okay. I might try bashing it before I let you do your finesse.
Just knocking it open.
Mm-hmm.
Just what would you do with that?
Like take the hilt of Mother's sword and just strike it, like with its in scabbard.
It will pry open, but it's going to make it messy. Do you want to do
that? Yeah, maybe not. I don't want to really mess with this blade yet.
No. It's not going to make the blade messy. It's going to make the chest messy.
Yeah, no, I still don't think I want to do it, unless it's like our last resort.
Okay. How are you getting into it then?
I'm just gonna see if Yelnara has any more tricks, because I can't. I mean, I could try to pick it or something myself. I just don't know if I have the tools. So let me is that key work? I'll look over at Yelnara.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try the key if I have it, and then is it too late for me to retroactively roll on a?
No, you can still retroactively roll for some thieves' tools.
Okay, I mean, first I'm gonna go for that key.
Yeah, that key is not working.
For the shot.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna roll for some thieves' tools. I can just roll silver.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get them, you just.
Yeah, I roll a 10. So.
Okay, nice. Yeah, you have your set of thieves' tools with you.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and make that dexterity check?
Yeah, if I may. And feel like this fits within my sort of light-fingered.
It does.
All right. Have a thing you know how to do. Do it all the time. So I failed on the 19, but I got an 11, which succeeds.
You're able to pretty easily get it open. And there's a good bit of money in this little box. There's a lot of old coin in this. You'd estimate there's something close to 500 gold coin worth. I mean, this is different styles of old coins. But just based on the metal and the weight that they seem to be made out of, you're guessing around 500 gold here.
Nice.
It is a substantial chunk, but it is in a nice chest.
Like, so 500, that's like 50 pounds, right?
Right.
That's a lot. How much does the chest weigh?
The chest is going to add about 5 pounds to that.
I don't want to find a place to like hide the chests that's not his secret place.
Okay.
I don't know where
Are
that
we
would
going to
be.
bring it out of his room?
Yeah. Stash it in my own secret place. But I don't know where we do that.
What are you doing with where the wolf was tied to?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Good question.
I'm going to cut back to Palmia and Tepe. The Magi finish sort of their moment of silence and rise back up and say, "We will escort you to talk to the Warrior Maidens."
And I raise a finger and say, would it be too much for me to ask for a small memento? I would like to remember this place, and anything that could help me with my magic, well, that would be very much appreciated.
You're asking me for assistance with your magic?
Yes, I mean, in your capacity as an agent of your god, of course.
I mean, my wand is my wand.
Oh yes, well, nothing so powerful as that.
And just one of the like to pay, you can hear like one of them is one of the younger people just like pulls out like a little thing of like old wood of some sort and is just holding it up and just like waving it like take mine.
And I kind of like walk over and I'm like, oh.
Where are your friends?
But they should be getting ready to leave.
Carl, just as a side note, whatever the standard wand is in the book, that's what you have now. They should be getting ready to leave. Where are they?
And I'm like looking around.
They probably went to take our short rest in your dorms. Palmy and I can go get them, and then we'll be right back, and you can lead us to the Warrior Maidens.
Or whatever would be the non-anachronistic version of gesturing at his wrist.
Right. Yeah, Tepe hates this guy so much. And I think like shoots Palmia a glance and like gestures to like come with me to the dorms.
Yeah, I get the point. I'm like, thanks for the wand.
The person who gave it to you is like, use it.
I will.
Think of me when you use it.
And
then they get immediately embarrassed that they said that.
Nice. I'm just gonna find that wand in the book.
You guys are still back in Arig's room, correct? I think you get there as they realize they need to do something about the wolf who had previously been leashed to the box. And the box is pretty big.
We might need to either cut the chain or break the chest.
I mean, that it had been leashed to the box. It had not, it's not permanently attached.
Oh.
But it will need to be attached somewhere where it will be obvious that the box is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else in the room?
There's the bed. I mean, it was the footlocker was at the foot of the bed.
So we could just tie it to the bed?
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Or should we take the coins out of the chest and just, make bags?
So when you guys get there, they're debating what to do with this chest that has lots of coin in it.
Yeah. Tebey's like, Tiamat's tits, what are you two doing? You're gonna get us in trouble.
I mean, there's a lot of coins in here.
There's probably gonna be there's plenty of coin in the city or deeper down. We don't got to be pissing off this asshole who's gonna rain his fire down on. What did you do to the dog? Is the dog alive? Did you kill the dog?
We sang it a lullaby.
Coins are of decidedly minor scholarly value.
These are some pretty rare coins.
Oh no.
Although that one in particular.
Including ones that have some enameling on them and ones that are like, they have some, some ornate filigree type stuff. Like an electrum coin with silver filigree or something like that.
Yeah, perhaps it's best to just stuff our pockets and make a couple bags.
I suppose I could take a few specimens of particular archaeological interest.
Whatever you guys are gonna do, just do it quick. Let's get the heck out of here. Just fill your pockets and let's go before that asshole comes back.
So I'm gonna start pulling off articles of clothing, and I'm gonna take one thing that I can sort of hopefully fashion some sort of bag. Like we were in the Winter Wonderland, we had clothes.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna try and make a bag with something, and then I'm gonna take another article of clothing or two and see if I can replace coins with clothes. So I can take some coins off and then shove some clothing under it to try and make it not immediately. Yeah, so the level looks the same unless he's weighing it.
You're able to get a D4 of gold each. Coins worth a D4 of gold each. If you're taking them. You can probably get a little bit more if you stay a little bit longer, but you know that Arig is already impatient to pay.
Yeah, I think as Tepe watches everybody else filling up their pockets, Tepe walks over and takes some, and it's all right, okay, now, all right.
So you have the equivalent of roughly a D4 of gold.
And I think I just want to take a couple interesting coins.
Right. All right.
I think set the room back up as close to how we found it and get out.
With an unpoisoned wolf.
With an unpoisoned wolf, yeah. Shake him awake. No. Okay, I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah, it's already sort of woken up briefly and vomited.
Oh God, I hope that dog doesn't die.
And you guys go back?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly richer than we were a minute ago.
Hey, and for all those guys, for all of you that hated this guy, you kind of slighted him in 2 ways. In more ways than one. Put it
It's
that
true.
You get back to him, and he looks at you and is like, "Did you enjoy your nap?" Yes, Yelnara.
Yeah, it was really nice. Thanks for asking.
Lovely, lovely. All right. Let us go and meet the Warrior Maidens of Madarua.
Of course, lead the way.
And some of the other magi are like playing small percussion instruments like finger cymbals and a tambourine as you guys walk out the door. He leads you down a short corridor, sort of with torches along it. And he comes to like one of those doors like you saw in the hallway with the statue or shrine. And gestures to the door, pulls a few levers, and there's sort of a shaking. In the shaking stop, he opens the door. He pulls another lever, and the door pops open. And there are more, torches in the hallway beyond that door. And there's a door at the far end of that hallway, and he leads you into. But there's also weird devices, levers, contraptions along the walls. There's actually, one second. The devices along the walls, there are 4 levers. And there's another 4 levers near the far side. And he sort of walks past them, ignoring them, and is heading for the far side door. Are you all just following along?
Yeah, I don't have any writing implements, so I don't think I'm taking notes or anything.
Okay. And he opens that door. It goes into another hallway, which leads, after about 20, 30 feet to another door where he knocks and then stands back waiting for an answer. Are you guys doing anything that you want me to know about while you wait for the answer?
I think I would like to talk to Messia and sort of say, like, hey, like, can you just, if the opportunity presents itself, can you just like show off a bit? I have a feeling these warrior maidens aren't going to be very interested in what I have to do.
She just shrugs. She's like, okay, I guess.
All right. Okay, cool. I mean, just be the badass you are.
And after a few moments, and you guys, just to be clear, are standing outside room 23. A woman, and just like everybody you've seen down here, very pale, very, very, very fair skin, super white hair, wearing a bronze mask, opens the door. And the mask looks like the face of the statue of sort of the warrior maiden with the sheaths of wheat around her, wrapped around her sword. Opens the door. And you see behind her sort of like signs of a meal going on with a bunch of women in masks sitting around a table. And he leans in and whispers something to her. And she sort of steps back away from him when he whispers it. And then he turns and gestures to you and Tepe and Yelnara. You can see him introduce you. It's like, these folk have a proposition for the warrior maidens and asked me to escort them. And then gestures to you, gestures back to her. And she just sort of arcs an eyebrow at you. What do you do?
I feel like I'm gonna let somebody else take the lead here.
We're looking to form a coalition of all the three groups, all the three factions. We've already joined two of the factions, and we're looking for your support.
A coalition to do what?
Well, can we agree that Zargon is a nuisance, a threat, and has been...
She makes some sort of gesture around her face and spits on the ground as soon as you say Zargon, and then sort of like stamps at the spit with her foot.
Yeah. I see we can probably agree to this, that he needs to be... His worshippers need to be cleansed of this. Cleansed of our space. Mm-hmm. They need to be driven out. It's too long have we been have these factions been victim to him and his followers.
Why don't you make a charisma check there, Dennison?
All right. I get a 4. Succeed.
And she gestures to you to a few and she clears her throat and snaps her fingers, and the people sitting around the tables eating sort of make space for you. As she gestures for you to sit. And Ariga just sort of enters the room and just sort of casually looks around, like he's just sort of bored. And there's some simple sort of tapestries and artwork on the wall that he clearly knows they're very simple. Are
there chairs for everyone, or is it like chairs?
It's benches, and it's crowded to sit down, but they're sort of making room for you.
Yeah, I think at least have a seat with them, and at least make space for the translator, whoever is the main translator on this one.
Yeah, there's space for everybody, but it's crowded. It's benches. So they're all kind of sliding together to kind of make space for the 5 of you to sit down.
Well, and I introduced myself, and I'm Dennison, and this is I'm a kind of motion over to some of the other stakeholders here, and kind of introduce Ariga, just so that she's aware, and if she see if she has any reaction or anything.
Ariga, as soon as does an overly sort of patronizing bow, and they look back to you and tell your translators like, "Oh, we know Ariga." And they're all wearing chain shirts and just even at the dinner table, just wearing chain shirts and kind of leather leggings or animal hide leggings of some sort. They also pull up a chair for Messia, sort of right next to the chair of the woman who answered the door. And it's clear that she's getting bigger portions as they sort of pass out food for all of you. She's getting a slightly bigger portion than the rest of you are getting. So how do you think we can help you defeat Zargon? She's sort of saying it in a patronizing sort of way.
Mm-hmm. For this one, I'm going to start looking over at the others because I think honestly, I feel like Polmia has a lot of plans and a lot of answers. But I'll also, yeah.
I kind of look around and I'm like, well, I'm not much of a warrior, but I know strength when I see it.
When you say not much of a warrior, several of the maidens snicker.
And I just kind of like acknowledge, like, yeah, I'm just a nerd. Okay. And I gesture around everybody and I say, we have brought together the other two factions to fight against Zargon. Don't you want to lead this effort? Show how strong you really are by putting an end to this threat once and for all.
Pumia, make the charisma check at advantage.
Okay. Let's see how this goes. Oh, good. Okay, that's a miss. And that's a hit. I got a 4, needed a 11 or less.
They all sort of turn and look at the woman who's clearly in charge, who's sitting next to Messia in sort of a separate chair off the benches. And she sort of nods and is like, well, you have 3 factions, and well, you see you have 2 factions, and you want useful people to come join you in this campaign.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
People who can actually do something useful is what you want.
Yes. I have no doubt of the usefulness of your talents.
Very well. We have something we've been working on, and I think that's where we will cut for tonight.
Mm.
Yeah, the Warrior Maids were so much easier than the other two.
Well, when you succeed on the charisma checks. when the reaction check goes well and then you succeed on the charisma checks, it's all so much easier. Everybody at home, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to do a quick debrief, and we will see you all next week. Have a great night.